Alright, so I don't normally do too much of the build type videos, but Last Epoch is an amazing playground of build making and diversity, and I simply couldn't help myself. Now, I'm not some pro Epoch player, and I don't know all of the little details for the game quite yet, and I don't follow guides, so understand that this is a rough build, and I basically take a concept and see how far I can run with it. The most exciting part of games like this is the discovery of putting things together and creating your own build, and holy shit, look at this unique, that's crazy, that's perfect, that's just what I need to do this or that. So that's where I come from when it comes to these games, and I just kind of want to share my ideas and see what you guys come up with and see how I can improve it. So in this video, I'll show you what I've done and how it's gone so far, and perhaps the community can give me some feedback for the build. This character might not seem like they do much on the surface, but you'll be refreshing your damage abilities constantly and maneuvering yourself to find open space. Personally, I have a lot of fun controlling space on the battlefield and trying to maximize my damage uptime, and believe me, a perfectly timed Warcry is super satisfying. But I also want to keep these videos fairly short, so let's dig into the actual meat of the build. Alright, so I just want to go over a few key skills. I don't want to show every single node, every single point that I put in everything. You can kind of figure it out just by looking at the tree. But I just want to show you the key things that you basically need to get in order for this build to kind of work and to synergize. So we'll start with Maelstrom. It's kind of the bread and butter of the whole thing. It's the constant storm that does damage around you the whole time. You cast it basically every 3 or 4 seconds. The reason why you do it every 3 or 4 seconds is because of the node beneath the waves. Basically, if you don't cast it, if you don't cast Maelstrom for 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, it gains 1, 2, 3 stacks. And then when you finally do cast it, it gives you all those stacks at once. So instead of constantly moving every second and casting, you can cast Maelstrom, move for 3 seconds, and then cast it again in order to maximize the amount of stacks that you have. So definitely go for Beneath the Waves first, just makes the quality of life way easier. Then we go down here, Arctic Chill just basically makes it so you're doing more damage down here, Frozen Abyss, Arctic Blast. The key one down here though is Eye of the Storm. It's shrinking the area that you're doing damage in, but it's increasing the damage, which we'll always take that. So for Maelstrom, it's pretty straightforward. There's some other points that are kind of subjective based on your chill chance or your freeze multiplier. You might need to get these nodes or might want them, or you can go up here and get some more damage. It doubles with more attunement, which I have more than 60 attunement, so this is a great node for me too. Or make it last longer, the duration of the stack. So you have some flexibility with Maelstrom. From Maelstrom, we'll go right to Summon Storm Totem. For this one, basically, we need to go over and get Blizzard right away. We want to change it into, we want to change Shock Chance into Chill Chance, and it does this big AoE slow. It's very useful. You can make it do additional cold damage. It freezes them. It adds frostbite. This is where we want to go over here. You want to get all these skill points for sure. Max these out. Other than that, you have a few points to play with. Nothing major. It's pretty straightforward for Storm Totem. Now from Storm Totem, Warcry. Love this skill. It's so much fun to use. It's so simple in essence, but it's actually so much fun because of this design. So typically you'd roar, you knock people back, they get stunned. But we go over here and we get Jormun's Wrath, and we turn the stun into a freeze. We turn the physical damage into cold damage and bleed into frostbite. So it synergizes with all of our other cold damage and frostbite, etc. But with Frost Claw, you and your allies affected by Warcry deal increased cold damage for 4 seconds. So suddenly we get this huge burst of 250% cold damage, and the targets are frozen, which a lot of other skills have bonuses to frozen targets. So you're doing way more damage. So you turn this defensive skill into this offensive weapon that's just insanely good. And then down here, we make it so we're invulnerable for 1 second, which is huge because I'm literally running up to people with this build. I stand on top of enemies. So having an invulnerable instant shout is just amazing to have. Make it so it heals us a little bit. Purging Shouts. Now it cleanses us of negative ailments. So you get a bunch of bleed or poison on you or something like that. Boom, you can shout and cleanse it as well. But a big one down here is Whirlpool. So when we cast Warcry, we automatically get 4 stacks of Maelstrom. So if you had saved up stacks because you hadn't cast it for 3 seconds, you're running to the next pack of enemies or something, You run into a huge pack. You can open with Warcry, freeze them all, get massive bonus damage from Frostclaw. You instantly have 4 stacks of Maelstrom. As soon as you hit Maelstrom one more time, you're at 7 stacks at least, and you just melt everything. So Warcry is beautiful in this build. And then the final piece of the offensive puzzle is Avalanche. Now, Avalanche is kind of interesting. It deals heavy damage. As you can see, it estimates like 32,000, but basically, we want to go down this tree first. So we make it form a circle around us. We make it so it can be targeted, but it doesn't matter. We make it so it no longer has it's no longer channeled, but it has a cooldown instead. But the big one here is Hailstorm. So Avalanche is now cast around you and follows your movement. Obviously, with Maelstrom, we're moving the whole time. We're running into people. So now Avalanche will follow us around and drop bombs on everybody. I only put 2 points in mana efficiency here. If you're struggling, if you're constantly running out of mana because of your build, you might want to put more. You want to max out the duration, of course, to maximize your effectiveness. But basically, you go down this tree for sure, and then you go this way with it afterwards, and you turn from physical to cold, and you basically can just do a lot more damage. It's extremely good, extremely powerful. It does a lot of damage. And then the final skill that I'm using for mobility is Leap. So, or Fury Leap. So originally I was using the Storm Crows, and actually we'll go to them really quick. I was using Sky Passage as my traversal skill and teleporting with my crows, and I had this change their lightning damage to cold damage, and now they were doing frostbite and they were freezing people, and this was great. But once I got to empowered monoliths, these motherfuckers just die all the time. They're just dead. So then that puts me at risk all the time because I can't use Crowstorm if my crows are dead. So I had to switch something up. I was like, yo, this is not working. And I went to Leap, and it's really good. So there's a few big things to touch on here. This just gives you some global damage. You could probably max this out, pull this point from somewhere else. But I went down this way first because I wanted a heal. So I can, if I'm, surrounded by shit, I need to jump out, boom, I get healed. But also it's another purge for me. So this saved my life multiple times from bleeds or poisons that are gonna kill me. I can just leap anywhere and cleanse myself. So that's huge. Up here, you're immune to damage from this node here. You increase the area, it doesn't really matter too much. It's damage, we don't care too much. I wanted the cooldown recovery. But also you can reset it. So quite often I will leap into a huge pack, kill everyone, and instantly reset the cooldown on it. And I can leap out if I need to or something. But Leap is fantastic. It's reliable. You can always use it. You're immune to damage. It heals you. It purges. Leap is an all-star. And I should go over my passive abilities really quickly here. It's not very complicated. But from the Primalist tree, I've taken Natural Attunement, Wisdom of the Wild, Hunter's Restoration, and Tempest Bond. They're all, attunement is what we're looking for, some tankiness, and spell damage, of course. From Shaman itself, Shamanic Infusion is, beautiful. You need to get that. Sky Warrior, some cold talents up here that just add to damage and freeze rate, stuff like that. Rune of Awe improves your damage and your totem's damage. And then Elemental Shrines, max that out, and Swirling Maelstrom, max that out. There isn't really much in regards to tankiness in this tree that is actually, worth the points. So we can't really get much from there. There's a little bit in this tree that we're going to take is Spirit Warden, gives us some more health and mana. Chitness Plating, some more endurance and armor. This I accidentally misclicked, but whatever, it works. And then Blessed Springs, we're maxing that out and maxing out River Spirits. More damage, more freeze rate, more cold. Yeah, that's it really for the tree. And it's not too complicated. Maybe I've missed something that, you could go further in a tree and get that might be worth it, but I don't really think so, at least for survivability's sake. The concept of refreshing Maelstrom stacks, rebooting your Avalanche, and placing key Storm Totems is the basic damage rotation. Using Warcry at key moments for incredible burst damage or just to save your life is arguably the most important skill. Leap can gap close you onto pesky ranged enemies or get you out of a bad situation. Overall, the build has performed well by my uninformed standards, I guess. I'm doing empowered monoliths now, and I'm starting to see a definite need to increase my survivability and defensive capabilities. But overall, I'm still cruising and making a lot of progress. I don't really die pretty much ever. I come close, but I don't die. I'm killing things quickly, and I'm moving up the corruption ladder, so it's going good. I have a lot to learn about last epoch's itemization, and I'm still trying to find some key upgrades for my build wherever possible. I haven't found any uniques that fit into this build perfectly yet anyway. There's some, cold damage type stuff, but nothing that just works perfectly. But I imagine there's something out there for Maelstrom or Avalanche that'll work. And I doubt that I'm the first one to make this build either, but I prefer to put the pieces of the puzzle together myself. I'm excited to try this build in a group setting at some point in the future. I've only played solo so far, but my brother is actually leveling up his character right now, and we're obviously going to do duo arenas and see how far we can get and stuff like that. So it's going to be fun. I can't wait for that. Anyway, that's it for this video. I just wanted to make it short and sweet. If you have any suggestions for me or items to keep an eye out for, let me know in the comments. Please don't bother linking an entire build because I'm not going to read it. So anyway, thanks as always for watching my videos, and take care, everybody.